It always feels so dark down here in the pantry. It's like I'm in the dungeon or something. Not some great, amazing space, that's for sure. It is time to start planning that fall canning. Many of you know this time of year, it's panic on the freezers. Not on the dance floor, it's on the freezers because we have to... It's not even panic on the dance floor, it's murder on the dance floor, isn't it? Anyways, that's the way my humor goes. That's how good I am with sayings. It's so funny. I never, ever get sayings right. So you just have to bear with me. I make them up as I go. We're coming into that fall canning season. As many of you know, I need to empty freezers. Now, saying that, we're going into the winter season with only 3 freezers running, but we need to first take a look at these shelves and see what we're missing. And I can tell you, there's quite a bit because I have not done a lot of canning this year. That's okay. This is giving us that chance to use up stuff we have. So I think we'll start things off here with the shelves that have stuff on them. And we'll talk a little bit about what's left. Now, right behind me here, you're seeing our charred salsa. Now, you just saw me make Southwest salsa. And to be honest, we didn't make any more charred salsa because we really didn't have a lot of tomatoes this year. And Southwest salsa has kind of taken the win here with the family. And you can see right here, the Southwest salsa, that's pretty far back there. We've got 4 little jars left, and I've done a whole bunch more, as you saw in that salsa making video there. So that's going to get replenished, not worried about that. And this tour is just sort of to show what's left after last year. There's not very much on these shelves that's from later in this year, maybe from January to March time, that sort of thing, when I did quite a bit of canning. But anyways, I'm digressing. August stew. Oh my gosh. I grew so much for August stew and I canned so much August stew last year. I still have 36, maybe even 38 jars left. So glad we're not going to make that one again this year. We got to get these used up. But it's still really impressive to see how much stuff can carry over. I need to have that because what if the garden doesn't produce? I.e. this year, I planted tomatoes. We got no tomatoes, like 10. I have to admit, I hate where this is from a filming perspective because of this stupid pole. We are actually in discussion about revamping the pantry over the winter and making it a little bit more accessible. So we'll see how that goes. Watch this space. But talking about sauces, you can see here I stopped where the pizza sauce is. We didn't make any pizza sauce this year because I still had a full shelf and I still have a couple more jars left down in the reserve. So that's pretty good. Pasta sauce, we really didn't make any this year. Marinara, I'm a little bit short on, so I really would like to focus on that next year. Next year, tomatoes are definitely happening. We are going to stay home. We're going to work hard and kind of restock all this stuff because another thing that I don't have any spare of is, drumroll, this makes me so nervous, ketchup and barbecue sauce. I normally have 3 shelves with like 3 things of 15 jars for both of them. And then I have spare ketchup down in the reserve to bring up to the top. So yeah, really, really nervous. We go through at least 2 jars of ketchup a month. So 24 really is the sweet spot every year. This is all still, to be honest, it's actually 2023. So I do have I see 2024 back here, but 2024, I didn't make very much because I had so much still from 2023. I said, it's okay. I'll take a year. And then I took a year again this year. So we are going to run out. I just know it. And ever since starting to make homemade ketchup, I can't stand store-bought ketchup. Sauces are huge, huge on the agenda for next year. And the only thing I saved tomatoes for was butter chicken. Our butter chicken curry, we go through a lot of that every year. And that's like, my cat wants in. Give me a second. Grr, can you hear her scratching on the door? Scratch, scratch, scratch. It's ridiculous. So now that the cat's in, butter chicken, we go through a lot of that every single year. And ideally, once a week. So that's, well, I shouldn't say just butter chicken. Once a week, we have a curry dish. And that's where I've got like a versatile curry and I've got jalfrezi. I know I'm going to be saying that totally wrong. And butter chicken. Those are my 3 go-tos. And butter chicken is the one everybody loves and it's the one that disappears the quickest. So butter chicken. I have 24 pounds of tomatoes in the freezer. That's what they're for. So we're going to be making some butter chicken at some point when we start emptying the freezer because it's looking pretty bad. So as you can see, really going into the next growing season, I know it seems crazy to think about that already, but tomatoes are an essential and a focus. The one thing that has been a saving grace for us is I had a lot of tomato juice. So we went crazy in 2022 and we made a lot of tomato juice with intentions of drinking it and then realizing we didn't really like it all that much. It was still very, very good, but we were wasting a lot when we opened a jar. Maybe smaller jars next time. But anyways, so that is coming really, really handy for our soups. My lemon basil rabbit or chicken soup, but that one I've been able to make tons of because I can use the juice for it, which is fantastic. It's great because we are cutting through it because 2022 is a long time for tomato juice to sit on the shelf. So hopefully we will use up some of that over this winter in some canning projects, and that will just free up space, number one, free up jars, number two, and get us off to a fresh start for 2026. Now, tomato products are not the only thing I make though. So let's take a look at some of the other things that are still on this shelf that either need work or are doing great. There are still a few other things on this shelf that are worthy of mention. Up above me here, apple syrup. Apples have been ridiculous this year. I'm going to show you our apple juice as we go to the other part of the pantry area. It has been so hot that we haven't been able to process them without being attacked by wasps. They're falling off the trees. We are really stuck. I'm not sure how much we're going to get, but we need a little bit of apple product because we are down to, I'm going to be a spoiler here, I think it's like 9 jars of apple juice left. So hopefully this weekend coming up, it stays cool enough that we can process some apples and apple juice. Apple pie fills on here as well. I'm not going to really worry too much about making more of that because I have a whole lot of applesauce here still to use. That one is 2022, 2021. I'll be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually only see 4 jars left from 2021. Everything else here is 2022, but we still have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 jars. So I've started using that in my apple crisp and things like that instead of apple pie fill. So trying to chug through it so that we can just get it done and start over with a little bit more realistic numbers for storage. Right above here, I've got my Italian zucchini stew. Not worried about that. Now that we don't do a lot of pasta, I don't really use this as much as maybe I used to. I should really get creative and try and come up with a few different ways that I could use it, but we'll see how that goes. Next to that, I have the human grade lamb. Right above is the cat grade lamb. This is our human grade cubed. And we only have 2 jars left. See, I do it in like the big chunky like stew style. So that is definitely coming with the freezer challenge because we're going to get some lamb roasts out and chop them up and get them into these jars because I really like to have at least sort of the 10 jars there because it is so easy for those quick meals when the kids need to go somewhere or something like that. Love having the canned meat, and lamb is the one that I kind of go to most for that. The pickled peppers that I went crazy with last year, still have a lot of those. It's something that you don't use that much. We put them on pizza or sandwiches. If we make burgers on lettuce or cloud bread, something like that, we will use them. But really, all the jars I have are going to go for years. I'm not worried about that at all. And this year was an amazing pepper year. You just saw yesterday in my video, I harvested a whole bunch of peppers before the frost came this morning. And it is crazy because there is still so many out there. I went out and checked. No plants really got damaged with the hard frost because I had everything covered. So as long as we can get through tonight, which is another frost, we shall be smooth sailing for about 2 weeks. So I think we're going to have crazy amounts of peppers still to come. So I might be trying to figure out some way to can them, or maybe there's like a pepper soup or something. I don't know. I'll have to get creative with that. One spot that I sort of skipped over here was this big hole for Thai sauce. The Thai sauce that's missing there is something that we use quite a bit, especially mixed with my yellow tomato sauce. This is kind of like a plum sauce, and then you add in the Thai, and it's kind of like a sweet chili. It's really, really hard to describe, but it is really, really nice on a stir fry or for chicken strips or things like that. Samosas, really, really good for a sauce on samosas. I basically mix it half and half. It's so good. So Thai sauce is certainly on the agenda, and I did purchase everything I need to make it. So hopefully we'll get that done here shortly. The yellow tomato sauce, though, is still holding strong after, well, this one's 2023, and I have 2024's tucked in behind it. So we've got a good stash of the yellow tomato sauce. And really that bottom shelf is just soups and stews. We've got our chicken barley soup, Polly's Moroccan stew, lamb stew, and a big gap where the summer's best soup should be. That's a sad one for me, but I don't think it's happening this year. And tucked on the next shelf, if I kind of keep going here, you can see I only have 3 jars of pea and ham soup. So that's got to get going as well. And really, our overflow is mainly chicken stock. Chicken stock, chicken stock, chicken stock. That is something I have produced a lot of this year. And really, the main reason for that is space in the freezer. Now we'll go to the other shelf and we'll just do a quick little recap on things that need to be brought to attention, I guess you could say. Jams and jellies, top shelf, like I say, they're kind of always still holding strong. One thing I am noticing, and I'm not so sure on it. So I've been using the Pomona's Pectin low sugar, and I'm really finding, now I'm not sure if you can see it in there. See that black on the lid? I'm starting to get nervous because I'm finding it on a lot of my low sugar jams. Now, saying that, they still seem to taste fine. Yes, I know. We've been plunging ahead anyways. I've read mixed things on it, and a lot of people say don't worry about it. So we haven't really worried about it, but it does seem to be something that happens on the low sugar jams, because any of my jellies, I mean, I'm going to pull one here. Let's go. What are these here? Okay, this is the jalapeno. This is very, very dirty. So this is mint jalapeno, and it is from 2018. Now, I'm going to be terrible. I don't know if I can pop it without something. I need something. Oh, there we go. I got it. Woo. So, look at this. Perfectly clean. I know, now I'm going to have mint jalapeno jelly. I'm going to get some lamb because I really like the homemade mint jalapeno in lamb. But all I'm saying is that was before I started really watching sugar, and there isn't anything on that lid. So it makes me a little nervous. Maybe you guys can appease my mind on this, but we're still eating it. I'm just trying to not let it sit for too long, even on the shelves. But it's kind of concerning when I can open a 7-year-old jar and have no issue whatsoever with that. And yeah, anyways, it would make me sad if I start throwing out jam after making all that effort, especially when those jams have a lot more fruit in them than the sugar, obviously. So it feels like it was a lot more effort to grow all the product to go into them to then have it be wasted. So I'm in the deliberation stage of whether low sugar is really going to be as important as being able to actually keep them stored. Anyway, that's a whole philosophical thing, I guess. I don't know. Either eat it faster, don't make as much. I don't know. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in there. That's a lot to unravel. But I'm going to put this down here so I don't forget to take it up and put it in the fridge. I'll give you another example. Sorry, we're bouncing around here. But again, see it in there? It just goes on the lid. It's like, I don't know if it's oxidation or what it is. Like, it's not mold, because when I take it out and pop the lid, it's just the lid has black on it. So anyways, help me out here, guys. Roasted red peppers, lots of those. We actually, now that we've got the pickled ones, barely ever eat these, so I don't think it's going to be made anymore, really. Here you can see we've got some kidney beans. We talked about the beans when I cleaned that shelf upstairs. Normally I would have mixed beans and black beans also in jars. I don't have any of those, so that's something we need to get going on, is canning up some of those beans so that I use them, because when they're dry, I just don't use them. Enchilada sauce. I only have 2 jars left, so I need to make some more of that. We do like enchiladas every now and then. There's a chicken enchilada casserole, which is really, really good. So if I think about it again, I will share that recipe. And really what's left here is a whole lot of pickle products. Pickled beets, we could definitely do some more. I only have 4 jars there. Tons of our lemon basil or vegetable soup. Chicken/rabbit a la king. I'm not sure I will do that one again. It didn't turn out amazing. Nobody really loves it. The pea soup we've already talked about. Potato leek is holding, but we could do some more. The borscht. And now we get to where things have disappeared. This is our spot for chili meat and taco meat. And as you can see, very, very, very empty. Down here we've got our spot that would be the black beans, the Cajun rabbit stew, which is also starting to deplete, and our lamb and black bean chili, which there's only 3 jars left. And then we just have some extra tomatoes and some more of that rabbit soup. 1, 2, 3, and actually tucked under on the other side is box number 4. So 48 1-liter jars of tomato juice and those 3 boxes of August stew. So all in all, this shelf is really holding well considering this year's been a bad canning year. Whether it'll make it through the pantry challenge again is yet to be seen, but I think we'll be just fine. We've got 3 months still to kind of get things on this shelf and get it stocked back up with stuff from the freezer, which is always a good idea because at least this makes it through a power outage in the winter. Freezer's not so much, and then we have to run the generator, and I don't really like having to do that. So, to be honest, we haven't even done a lot of the stuff out of the garden. We haven't dug up our potatoes. We just harvested our squash. If you want to go over to the Hickory Croft Farm channel and watch our squash harvest and our sweet potato harvest, they were great. A good amount of stuff. It's not down here in the pantry yet. It's still all curing out in the greenhouse, but it will come down here and it'll be stored hopefully on some shelves. I haven't found out where those shelves are going to be yet, but stick with me. So this side of the pantry, holding strong. Now we're going to go over, I'm going to just quickly show you a shot of that apple juice, and then we're going to talk about the store-bought pantry. So as promised, I'm starting showing you our 9 remaining jars of apple juice. Normally that whole shelf and the shelf below would all be apple juice. I'll be curious where I'm going to put everything else once we fill it with apple juice, but that's to be decided. So there's really not a lot of change on these shelves as far as what we stock. So I'm going to go through this really, really quickly and just kind of point out a few things that are essential and a few things that prices have definitely improved on. The konjac noodle, rice, and spaghetti. We keep this stocked all the time. It's not always available everywhere, and we've really come to enjoy it. It is an excellent substitute. And again, one of those things, it's only 2 grams, hopefully that shows up, carbs per serving. I will admit we tend to maybe do a double portion per serving, so you're 4 grams, but it's way, way less than the 60 that would be in rice or noodles. So loving this. We use it a lot. It's not the cheapest product you can buy. One of these bags is about $5, but it does do 2 meals for us. So it's not too bad in the general scheme of saving my health. We bought a few in that quick little grocery haul. And believe me, there will be another grocery haul before we go into the pantry challenge because there was a few things that got neglected. Coconut. We still have quite a few bags here, but that's something that I'd really like to see a few more. It's something that we tend to buy at the dollar store. Love the dollar store one. It's organic, nothing in it, and it's cheap. So that's where we go. Another one that we get there, chia seeds. There might be cheaper spots to get them, but I like that this is just a nice little easy packet to bring up rather than something big. And then really, we've just got our usual canned like water chestnuts, olives. You've seen the olives. That's going to need to be restocked with a few more, but maybe not till next summer because that's the only time I really use them. Silk milk. This is a new thing for us. Mostly for the fact, low in carb, but it also sits on the pantry instead of in the fridge because that's something that we learned as our fridge died this year. Space is at a premium, and storing a whole lot of milk just doesn't make sense for us when all we really use it for is coffee. So that's what we're going with now. We're going to the almond milk. We'll see how that goes. Olive oil. This is something I've been super excited. It's been down to $7.99 in some of the flyers for a 1 liter jar. Now, granted, I think you saw in last year's pantry tour, I talked about the fact that we bought most of the jars at that time for $4.44, like 3 years prior. Well expired now, pretty much all gone. We were down to, if it was $12.99, we were going to pick it up because that was a deal compared to $17.99. So now $7.99 is almost irresistible, but I really don't need any more. So we'll have to see. I might still pick up a couple before January just to make sure that we've got a good stock, but I'm happy with what is sitting here. Large flake oats, you just saw us stock them up in that quick little grocery haul. That's something we keep a lot of because I use oats for like apple crisps and things like that. We use oats for our granola, and I even like to make hot oats if I can, but I never use quick oats. Up top, cane sugar. This is something that has changed on the pantry shelves. We used to keep 9 of these. 9. I even think back to it now. The amount of sugar we used to consume is wild. And most of that was in jams and jellies, I will say that. And sauces and things like that. So, super impressed. I've got 3 here. This will last us a year. So, loving that. Otherwise, really, we've got some Thai ginger pieces. Help keep colds at bay in the wintertime. That, along with all of our tea fixings, which you saw in our tea video. And I did manage to get them down here on the shelf, and they look awesome. And they're somewhat organized. Still have a few more upstairs that I'm dehydrating, a few more things. So there will be more jars that have to come down here and find a home, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. Peanut butter, you saw us snap that up in that grocery haul. 4 more jars. Now I've actually got 1 extra. Right? Now I've got 6 jars up here, but it was a good deal and it got us that free turkey, so why not? Mayo is something very, very short on. I only have 4 jars. Mayo is something we go through quite a bit because I make all my own ranch dressings and all that sort of stuff. The kids often take my curried chicken salad for lunch, which uses mayo. It just seems to be something that we deplete quite quickly. So I only have 4 jars. Ideally, especially going into the pantry challenge, I would like to have 10 jars. So we'll see if I can get that stocked up before January. Tea, coffee, no issues whatsoever. We have so much tea, plus all the tea that we make. I don't know. It's like an obsession. I have an obsession with tea. And it's really funny because I don't drink a lot of tea. Like, don't get me wrong. We have tea almost every day, but we usually do our own teas. I don't do a lot of store-bought teas, yet I can't seem to walk by without buying some. So we have a lot of tea. Coffee, stocked that up. I'm really, really glad I did because now you're getting close to $30 for one of those bags of beans. So definitely if I see it on for around the $20 mark, I probably would still snag up a couple more, but happy with what's there and plenty of tea if we run out of coffee. Munchies, nachos, we do a lot of taco salad, as you saw from our lack of taco meat on the other pantry. So tacos are something we definitely keep in stock and we will make sure that they don't run out. I know you're seeing my one little bad item down here, aren't you? You're seeing that KD. I keep that because it's for the kids' lunches. If for some reason I don't have something that I can throw together like a wrap or a salad or something like that, we make up craft dinner and they take a hot lunch and they love it. It's a good treat. That's why we keep like 14 packets down here. It's just something so that if they need it for school, we can go out the door quickly with it. But for the most part, it kind of just sits here until they need it. I broke down, you saw on that grocery haul, I broke down and I bought some Harvest Crunch granola because I just hadn't had time between crafting for craft sale season and doing garden stuff and everything else. I hadn't had time to make some granola, so we bought some. It's been really, really nice, but I think I've got to get my groove back on the granola making for sure because boy, oh boy, that's expensive stuff. And if you want good stuff, it seems to be pretty high priced. And I like my homemade granola because it has a lot of nuts in it, which is great, rather than a lot of granola or oats, which is carbs. So definitely have to get back into the groove on that. But yeah, basically you can see there some rice cakes, granola bars, a big row of mustard, my almond flour, which realistically I probably should have more than that. Tons of vinegar there for canning and cleaning projects. We have a shelf here that is all stuff for trail mix, granola, things like that. In that milk crate is what is left of our pasta products. They kind of just sit there and get used in chicken food or something like that. But I'm curious on the date that is on that Cheerio box. I don't even remember when we bought Cheerios, so I'm really curious. Let's get it out. Still seems all right. I mean, does it really go bad? I guess. Where is the date on it? Here we go. Oh, it's actually not terrible. I'm impressed. August 19th, 2025. So it's only just expired. Probably should take it up and we should eat it rather than waste it, or at least feed it to the chickens. It's been kicking down here for probably 2 years. So I am surprised that it wasn't more further past date. So that's pretty impressive. That one's going to come up with me so that we can kind of get it gone. And I'm going to show you the last little change that I made in the pantry. Probably, I guess it was a couple weeks ago when I did some organizing, trying to make some space. So let's take a look at it. Before I do that, I forgot to show you something. One sec. This is atrocious. It's terrible. That is the maple syrup stash, what is left from 2 years ago when it was on sale, big on sale. I have 6 jars left. I have been watching and searching the flyers for maple syrup to be on sale. And by on sale, I mean like $6 or less for one of those 500 ml jars. And it seems slim pickings. I want to say that we got those for $4.99 2 years ago. I've yet to see anything even close to that. So hopefully I can find something. I use it in the granola. We obviously have Dutch baby pancakes a lot. So it is something that is depleted from the 30 some jars that we had for sure. So hopefully we can find that on sale again. I need to go back through my past videos and find out when exactly I did that grocery haul when we got those, because hopefully they have some sales around that time of year again. I know it was sometime in November or early December. So everybody keep an eye out for me. Let me know. Send a like message on Facebook or something if you happen to see it in Ontario on sale. And last but not least, I kind of moved all of my salts, flour, spices, that sort of stuff over onto its own little 6 feet of shelf. Still have to sort it out, as you can see above those spice racks there. I have no idea if there's any spices I still need. But sadly, other than that, the only thing in this pantry is empty jars. It's one of those things that I don't think you realize just how many jars you have until they're empty. When they're full of food, nobody thinks about the space they take up. But when they're empty, boy, oh boy, do I ever notice the quantity of space needed just to store those empty jars. If they were full, I'd have a different perspective on that. So we're going to get busy on that, let me tell you. But the one thing that you haven't seen in here is our actual produce from outside. We do not have our sweet potatoes in here. Our squash is not in here, even though they're both curing in the greenhouse. We still haven't dug up our potatoes for this year. So hopefully there's some out there. It was a really, really dry, bad year. So I'm not holding my breath on a whole bunch, but that's okay because the sweet potatoes were great. We still haven't picked our popcorn, and we still haven't picked our sorghum. Both those are grain type things, but they still take up space down here in the pantry. And a whole lot more peppers, cabbage, you name it, it's still out there. And we're like October 10th. So it's getting to the point that we're cutting it close. I know that the cold is coming and we're not going to be ready again. So stay tuned as we tackle a few of these little projects around here. Hope you enjoyed the pantry tour. And remember, if you happen to notice anywhere that has that maple syrup on sale, be sure to let me know.